Hi everyone, thanks for joining us today. I'm Arun from Onward Path, and with me today is someone I get to work with all the time here, Maria Velangani, our head of talent and client acquisition. For everyone listening, Maria is the person our clients actually talk to about hiring. And honestly, Maria, you are in these conversations all day with hiring managers, CTOs, engineering leaders, the candidates themselves, and AEM, Salesforce, cloud, DevOps, whatever the role, you are helping the clients figure out how to build the team. So if anyone knows what's actually going on in the hiring market, and that's you. Good to have you on this one.
Thanks, Arun, and happy we are finally doing this. And honestly, you're right. There are conversations we having mostly every single day. So technology is
Mhm.
changing so quickly, and AI is changing, cloud is changing.
Yeah.
Even the skills companies need are changing like every few months, right? But you look at the hiring process. Many companies are still hiring the same way which they were doing it like 5 years or even 10 years ago. And creating a lot of problems. So I'm excited to talk about it today.
So picture this. A company has just started a $50 million digital transformation, a big project. The board is very happy and the budget is fully approved. And the top leaders, they have put their whole reputation on this one.
Yes, it'll almost be like a dream. No,
Mm,
everything is set, green signals all the way.
yeah, and then nothing moves. 9 months, just stuck.
And see, this is the interesting part. So the technology did not fail. The problem was hiring team. So they could not tell the difference between a proper enterprise Java architect and someone who just did a weekend coding course
Yeah, honestly, happens all the time.
all the time. Yeah? And that's what we are talking about today. And this one hidden problem that is quietly killing big tech projects
Hmm.
quietly. Nobody even notices it.
Okay, what exactly are we getting into today?
See, basically, we are going to talk about the difference between a normal general recruiting and a specialized practitioner-led hiring. Because, see,
Okay.
the way most companies check technical people today, the whole
Hmm.
thing is broken.
And all this is coming from Onward Paths data.
Correct. Onward Path. That's the enterprise tech talent firm. And it has 14 years. They have been placing every top notch, top level tech people like AEM, AI, AWS, Salesforce, all the hard stuff.
Hmm. And when you see their data, one pattern is very clear, right? I mean, tech has become so big and so complex now.
Yeah. But now the companies are still hiring the same way they did it like in 2015.
10-year-old method for today's tech. Okay, but let me ask someone listening might think we have a very good internal talent team. Why is this a problem for me or for us?
That's a fair question, Arun. Very fair question. But see, the issue is for how fast and how deep the technology has become. So there's no simple like so-called IT development anymore.
Yeah, that's true. Now you have teams running AEM, which basically runs the online stores for Fortune 500 companies.
Mhm.
Big AWS cloud setups, Salesforce Einstein, and then putting AI into the CRM.
Let me add one more thing, and MLOps, which is starting up along with all this. Okay, so and this is exactly where it breaks. A
Hmm.
CIO takes one very critical role, for
Hmm.
example, say ML ops architect, right? And
And just hands the form to a general recruiter.
exactly. And look, general recruiters, they do very important work for the company, okay? But
Okay.
we are not putting them down.
No, no, of course not. They keep the whole company running.
Yeah. But in this very specialized area, They are simply out of their depth. I mean, MLOps is not just doing AI. It's much more detailed than that. So it's actually the work of it's actually work of taking a model from a data scientist laptop and runs it properly in a live production.
That's very complex, right? And a general recruiter, they don't know the exact tools, they don't know the real problems in getting it live.
No, but many times they just Google, they're just Googling the words from the job description only to understand what they even looking for. They don't even know what they're looking for.
Oh, it's a bit like giving a masterpiece painting to an art critic who only knows how to tick a checklist.
Yeah, that was a nice way to put it, right? The general recruiter sees the resumes and goes like, blueprint, yes, trees, yes, okay, done, checked, ticked.
Yeah, right. Just they are matching the main keywords.
Yes, absolutely. The keyword matching illustrations. But being a real painter, just imagine like if there is a real painter, he looks at the
Mhm.
brushwork, okay? And within seconds, he knows if this person actually understands the light and depth, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
Like taking a Formula One car to your local puncture shop.
Oh, I love that one. Yeah, the mechanics wants to help. His intention is good, right? But he does not know that machine's language. So it's like asking a normal doctor to do a heart surgery, and it's dangerous because all these keyword matching looks like progress, but it's not.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah.
The recruiter, she's machine learning or AEM on the resume, and then they directly forward it to the hiring manager and thinks, okay, now my job is done.
Yeah, but there's no way for them to check the actual depth behind those big words. No way at all.
Okay, so let's see what actually happens in real life because this is not just a small HR headache. It can destroy the whole project timeline. Take one example, an AEM cloud migration that gets stuck in this trap.
Yeah, I agree with you. So let's imagine, okay, a big company moving from old platform that's AEM 6.5 to a new cloud. Okay, so it's very critical because multi-million dollar migration, and to lead it, they need a senior AEM architect.
Yeah, that makes sense. So they give the role to their general recruiting team. But since they're only matching keywords, they send 20 to 30 candidates who maybe touched AEM once in their life.
Or they know only the basic content management, never done a full cloud migration. So the
Mhm.
hiring manager rejects all of them after wasting weeks in interviews. So the same cycle again and again, and the role stays open for 9 months.
9 months, one critical project just frozen. So what happens to the team on the ground? They must be struggling, right?
Yeah, they start to break down. See, the existing engineering team is already full, like just managing the old system. Now, suddenly, they also have to do the big architecture work, which they are not trained for. So, burning out shoot ups.
And financially, they must be paying double licensing, right?
Yeah, it's like 100% what you're saying. So they have to pay 100% of it, like paying for the new cloud platform. They can't fully use it yet, and still paying for the old server to keep them running. Purely wastage.
Yeah, that's a total drain. And then the top level, the CEO,
Correct. Yeah, the CEO has gone and promised the board a timeline and a proper ROI. And now, because of the 9 months delay just in finding the right person, that promise is in deep trouble. So the whole plane is at the risk only because the hiring side did not have the technical knowledge to spot the right architects.
I get the damage of the delay, but let me push back a little. If the team is under huge pressure to fill the seat and it's costing millions every month, isn't it tempting to just take a somewhat worthy candidate? Honestly, isn't a weak hire better than an empty chair for 9 months?
This is very common trap. But a wrong financial fit in these specialized areas, he doesn't just perform badly.
Mm-hmm. Then what?
He actually breaks the whole setup. In a complex tech stack, a weak hire becomes a real risk to everything.
Hmm. Give one concrete example for this. What does breaking the setup actually look like?
Um, okay, let's take, for example,
Mm-hmm.
DevOps, right? Say the
Okay.
general recruiter finds a candidate very
Mm.
good at talking and AWS written all over the resume.
Okay. Ticking the keyword boxes, right?
Yes, yes. So the hiring manager is desperate. So he
Mm-hmm.
takes him in. But
Okay.
this engineer has no idea about the custom AWS setup the company has built over 5 years. So he
Hmm.
logs in, make one
Okay.
small change he thinks is normal, and boom, the CI/CD pipeline breaks.
Wait. 1 second, okay? For people listening who are not into engineering daily, what does CI/CD pipeline breaks actually
Okay.
means?
Yeah, that's the good question. Let me explain. So the CI/CD is continuous integration and continuous deployment. Okay, so think of it as a
Okay.
fast automated conveyor belt in the factories, which I'm sure you might have
Mm-hmm.
seen it, right? So it takes the code the developer writes, tests it automatically, and
Mm-hmm.
safely puts into the live product the customers are using.
Okay. Good. So it's basically the delivery line.
Yeah, right. And when the wrong hire breaks it, the belt snaps.
Okay.
Nothing new can go out. The
Mm-hmm.
whole factory stops. The entire
Oh,
development team is stuck. Deployment becomes zero. And your most costly engineer, instead of building new things, they're running around or like a firefighters, finding what broke, undo it, fixing the belt.
well, that's a nightmare, really.
Or like take a data analyst, okay, who
Mm-hmm.
somehow talks his way through the interview but can't handle your actual data warehouse, right? So now your
Okay.
dashboard starts showing wrong numbers, and the
Mm-hmm.
top management takes big decision based on the wrong data. That's why a wrong hire is much much worse than an empty chair.
And it brings us to the actual solution.
Ah, yeah. See, if the real reason for both the delay and the breaking things higher is that the people at the front door doesn't understand the technology, then
Okay.
you have to change who is guarding the door.
And Arnold Path's data clearly points that this practitioner to practitioner model, right?
Perfect. Yes, exactly. And this is where specialized hiring is totally different from normal recruiting. Okay. So here, the recruiter is not the one reading the technical resume or doing
Mm-hmm.
the first screening. A
Mm.
senior, a hands-on practitioner does it. So
Okay.
if you need an AEM architect, an actual
Mm-hmm.
working AEM architect checks the person. And someone who has really built and deployed ML model checks the machine learning candidate. A hands-on Salesforce person with the real Einstein experience checks the Salesforce AI role, and so on.
Oh, okay. Let me play devil's advocate here.
Okay.
These
Yeah.
senior practitioners
Uh-huh.
take very high salaries, right? Making them sit and interviewing candidates. Isn't that very expensive? Waste of their time as well.
Mm, okay, see, it feels like this, okay? But actually, it's far more expensive to make your own VP of engineering or hiring manager waste 60 hours a month interviewing 20 people who never had the skill in the first place. So you use the specialized firm practitioners for the checking. So your own team doesn't have to do it.
Right. And a practitioner asks totally different questions.
Yeah. So they don't care about the keywords on the paper at all.
Okay. Let's get into the actual interview. How does a practitioner test a candidate differently from a general recruiter?
Okay. This is an interesting part. Okay. So
Hmm.
take a QA, that's a automation, as an example. All right.
Okay.
So a general recruiter looks at the resume and says, I see 5 years of Cyprus experience. Can you confirm?
Hmm.
And the candidate says, yes, done, pass.
Uh-huh. That's it.
That's that's it. I'm sorry. But a practitioner does something totally different. Okay. So he'll say, like, okay, tell me about one time your Cypress test went completely flaky during a big Friday deployment. Uh, Tests were giving false failures, release was blocked, and your VP was standing on your head. So how did you fix and stabilize that test setup under pressure?
Hmm. That's a huge difference. You can't just fluff that by reading a Wikipedia page on Selenium or Cypress.
Yes, and you can't. Like either you are actually going through the pain in a live setup, or you haven't. So it forces a person to show real problem solving, and they go further. They check how these tests connect with the CI/CD pipeline, which we talked earlier, right? So the general recruiter tests the vocabulary. The practitioner tests the actual capability, I would say.
Yeah, I like that line. And the efficiency numbers from this approach are quite striking, isn't it?
Very much, Arun. So when you give the heavy technical check to a fellow practitioner, so the
Hmm.
hiring manager's life changes overnight. So instead of drowning in 20 useless resumes, a stable becomes like a simple final checkpoint. So he sees only two or three or four strong profiles. All the noise is gone because everyone reaching him has already passed through a tough technical test taken by someone who actually does their job.
Yeah, and the result, the interview to offer rate jumps to 85%. That number itself is wild. 85% of the people reaching the final round are getting the jobs.
That actually saves so much of time. So you're not wasting weeks on whiteboard rounds from people who look good on papers but can't code, right? You come across a lot of fake profiles, right? So you keep just doing the final check on the approach and team fit.
Hmm. So it speeds up the whole thing. So how much faster are we talking?
Well, the data actually shows using a ready practitioner checked network fills these roles like 35% faster than the normal industry benchmark. So that's the big difference. Profiles
Hmm.
from the top AWS, DevOps engineer, or Salesforce AI specialist, many times they come within 5 working days.
I think 5 days to get a, proper vetted architect versus
Uh,
a 9 month wait.
yeah, it's like night and day, 5 night and days. Yeah.
But it looks at the long game also. Speed and skill are important, obviously, but that's not the full picture, right?
Yeah, not at all. So if you find a brilliant person in like 5 days, but we get frustrated and quit the job within like 3 months, then you're back to the square one.
Exactly. So, what does all this mean for the intake process?
Yeah, so it means skills alone means nothing without the actual environment. Okay.
Hmm.
See, a person can write brilliant code, but
Okay.
if he can't write it inside your company's specific setup and rules, he fails. That's
Mhm.
why specialized firms never use a generic intake form. So they sit and do a proper talent strategy discussion.
Okay. I want to understand that discussion because that seems to be the real secret here, right? They are not just asking what's the tech stack.
No, no, no. See, they dig into the reality of the work, like what old systems do we have to connect with? What is the current politics in the engineering team? And most importantly, What does success actually look like for this person in the first 90 days? That 90 days question focuses, forces everyone to separate from the fancy job description from the real ground level work.
Yeah, true. And this brings us to what people call the healthcare crucible.
Yeah, okay. So imagine you find a brilliant Java developer, like six
Hmm.
years in a fast, aggressive Silicon Valley startup.
Okay.
Genius, okay? And he's
Hmm.
very fast. So his whole
Okay.
style is like move fast and break things.
He can code circles around everyone. On paper, he is a superstar. Any recruiter would grab him immediately.
Yeah, absolutely. But take the same startup developer and put him in a very strict, regulated healthcare company. He'll mostly like to collapse because when we are dealing with companies like Elevance, Humana, or Harvard Pilgrim, the platforms with 40 plus million members. So we are
Hmm.
working under strict HIPAA rule and a heavy data governance, right?
Yeah, that's right. So that move fast and break things doesn't mean some small feature has a glitch.
No, it means you are broken a federal compliance law and leak the private medical data of millions of people. Uh, a
Okay.
startup guy might see an 8-step compliance check as just a
Hmm.
useless red tape to skip, right? To deploy faster. But respecting that regulated industry governance, there's it's a non-negotiable there, right? A senior practitioner knows how to check for this governance sense. A general recruiter only sees candidate knows Java. You see
Hmm.
the difference?
Yeah. So here, the retention actually starts even before the person is hired.
Ye- I'm sorry. Yes. So it's the base, right? But it also like needs ongoing engagement. To
Okay.
survive in a high pressure setup, there has to
Hmm.
be earlier course correction. So if there is a gap between what the expected and the reality of all these compliance layers, you have to catch it in a week 3.
Not in month three when he is giving his resignation.
Correct. Yeah. And this ongoing relationship management, that's what gives us the last and maybe the most important number today.
That is the retention number.
Yes. So Onward Pat sees a huge 95% 12 months retention for these practitioner placed roles.
95% retention at 1 year.
Yeah.
That too in today's market. That's
Yes.
almost unheard of. Normally, engineers switch their roles every 8 months for a better salary, right?
Yeah, they do. They do. And Onward Path gets this because they don't treat the placement like one-time transaction. They treat it
Mm-hmm.
as a managed transaction.
Nicely put. But to get this kind of speed, quality, and retention, you have to accept one slightly uncomfortable truth about the talent market. Tell us about that.
Okay. See, the top level technical people, the visionary
Mm-hmm.
AEM architects, the hands-on ML expert, the DevOps engineer who can actually handle a huge cloud setup, they are not looking for you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Explain that, please. Because if I am a leader listening, I want to believe my brand is strong enough to attract anyone. So why are these practitioners not applying to my job post?
See, because they are already in a deep solving complex problem right now. So the best people in the world are not sitting on a job portal, waiting for some recruiter to send a LinkedIn message full of buzzing words, right?
Yeah, they are passive candidates.
Yes, exactly. So they are already paid well, already in an important project, and they simply ignore cold messages.
So then, how do you reach them?
Um, See, Onward Path practice this through peer-to-peer relationship capital. See, the
Hmm.
specialized hiring works because they maintain their private network of passive expert long before any role even opens, right? So when a CTO calls urgently needs a Salesforce AI specialist, the firm is not starting from zero on the job portal. So they already have a ready pre-checked network they have been building for years. So they can reach the top people because they speak their language, they understand their career, right?
Hmm. Yeah, it's the difference between shouting in a crowded room and making one direct call to your colleague. Okay,
Yeah.
so let's bring it all together for you, our listener. If your company is depending on general keyword matching to hire very complex and specialized tech roles, then honestly, you are creating your own delays without even realizing it.
You really are. You're risking a frozen migration, okay, broken deployment, pipelines, and finally, you're putting your own leaders' board level promises at risk. See, the point is, as the technology becomes more and more detailed and complex, the way you evaluate that technology also has to change at the same speed, right?
Yeah, it has to.
Yeah.
So the shift is practitioner-led technical screening, deep context during intake for tough environments like the healthcare, and using these passive expert tools.
See, that's the real structure shift needed to protect your timelines and actually get the 95% retention. Simply put, to summarize this, you want a master mechanic to check the engine, right? Not someone who only knows to read and the owner's manual.
Yeah, and that leaves us with one final thought for you. If the best talent in your industry is never looking at a public job portal and you only move through these private practitioner to practitioner networks, then how much your company's future success is quietly sitting on the relationships your teams are making or not making today?
Wow, that's a very powerful way to see it. It really changed the whole picture. If your dashboard is showing all green, but the actual work has stopped moving, then maybe it's time to stop looking at the technology and start
Mhm.
looking at who is guarding your front door.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. This week, just take one open question and ask yourself, are we searching for keywords or are we searching for practitioners?
Thanks, Arun, and take care, and we'll see you on the next one.